Hey there! Today we will be building a project called Random User Data Generator. Here's the demo, and as you can see, every time I refresh the page, it generates a different random user data. There's also a field and a button, and that will be a limiter of how many data should display. We are also going to use Nuxt3 so we can take advantage of the server API. But we're not going to use any database on this project, so enough with the demo, let's get started. So first, let's create our new project. So open it in terminal and then npx noxy latest init and then the project name. So user generator. Okay. And then I'm going to select yarn and our project is created. So I'm going to select no for now. And then let's cd to our project. So cd user generator. Okay. And then I'm going to open the project in our VS Code. So open that and then there you go. This is our fresh Nuxt project. Then next, we're going to install the ESLint. So let's go to the browser, and then I'm going to use this package. So it is from Nuxt, and I'm going to use the TypeScript. So I'm going to select this one. But if you're not going to use TypeScript, you can just use this one, and it will work the same. So copy this, and then in our VS Code, open the terminal, and then yarn add dev dependency, and then paste, and then the ESLint as well, and the TypeScript. Okay. All right. Once that is done, let's double check it. So in our package.json, as we can see it here, we have our Nuxt ESLint TypeScript configuration or package, and then the ESLint and then TypeScript. So next, let's create a new file. Let's name it ESLint RC. Okay. And then inside the file, let's extends, and then let's copy the Nuxt config TypeScript. So copy and then paste, then save. And then in our terminal, or actually it's the package.json, we're going to add the lint first. So lint and then ESLint and then dot. Okay. And then in our terminal, let's yarn lint. Okay. And as you can see it here, it says done in 2.44 seconds. So that means it's working. So let's close that. And then in our app.view, let's test it. So let's generate our view template. So view template. Okay. And then const test ref hello world. Okay. And let's wait for a couple of seconds and wait for this to finish. And once that is done, as you can see it here, it's giving us an error that it says test is declared but the value is never read. So that means our ESLint is working. Okay. And now that we know that our ESLint is working, let's remove this one and then save that. And then in our server folder, let's create a new app or new folder. So API. And then inside the API, let's create a new file. And we're going to name it user generator. And then the method will be get and then TypeScript. Okay. And then inside the file, let's generate a new Nuxt event handler. So Nuxt event handler. Okay. And here, inside the catch, let's generate the Nuxt error. So return create error, and then status code 500, and then the status message that will be API or something went wrong with the API. Okay, just like that. And then here, let's just return 200 for now. Okay. And then let's open the Postman. So Postman, so we can test it. So here, okay, let's just remove that and then send. And I forgot to run the project. So yarn dev. Okay. All right. Let's open back our Postman and then send. Send API user, or forgot to add a generator here. So generator. Okay. And as you can see it here, it's working. So it's returning the 200. So next we will add the limitation and the default value. So const limit, and then that limit will be from the query. So get query and then event, and that query will be the limit. And then if it's not specified, we will set the default value to 4. Okay. So if we're going to test that, so let's return that. So limit and then save, and then back in our Postman. And as you can see it here, we're not specifying any or any key inside the params. So if we're going to send that, the default value here is 4, since the limit is not specified. So, but if we're going to set the limit here, so limit and then example 10, so it will return 10. Okay. So next, let's run a for loop to our limit variable. So for, and then let x is equals to 0, and then x is less than equals to the limit, and then x plus plus. Okay. And what is this? Operator cannot be applied to types, numbers, number, and string, number boolean, query value. So it looks like a TypeScript error. So let's add some types for that. So query, and then limit, and then string. Okay. So the reason why I set the limit to string here, because any parameters that will be set in our API will be automatically converted into a string. So to fix this error, we will convert the get query to an integer. So parse int, okay, and then paste. And as you can see, the error is gone. So next, let's add a new variable. Let's name it result, and that will be an array. Okay. And then inside the for loop, let's push that. So let's push the value of the x here. So result push, and then x. Okay. And then let's also return the result, so we can see that in our Postman. So if we're going to send this, it will be an array of 0 to 9. Okay. So if we're going to make that a 1 to 10, let's make this 1, and then less than equals. Okay. And then back in our Postman, send that again. And as you can see it here, we have a number 1 to 10. So the next, let's add a new package, and that package is Faker.js. So Faker.js is a package that will generate a fake random data, and it is realistic. So if we visit their website, so in our browser here, and then Faker.js, okay, and click that, and it says here, generate massive amounts of fake but realistic data for testing and development. So click the get started, and then here in the installation guide, you can select whatever package manager you're using. And since I'm using Yarn, I'm going to select that. And then back in our VS Code, and then terminal, and then let's terminate that, and then paste, and then enter. Okay, once that is installed, let's run our website again. So Yarn dev, and then let's close that, and then let's go back to let's go to the package.json, and as you can see it here, here's our Faker.js. So go back to our API, and then let's import that. So import, then Faker from Faker, okay, and then let's test our Faker.js. So inside the for loop here, let's add the first name. So const first name, and then Faker, and then person, and then first name. So I'm not sure why the types are not generating. So let me restart my IDE, reload window. Okay, and wait for a couple of seconds. And let's try that again. So remove that and then period. And as you can see, it is now working. So person and then first name. Okay, we can save that. And then let's also add the first name in our array. So, okay, just like that. And then save. And then in our postman, let's run that. So here, as expected, we are getting 10 different first names. So next, let's also add the last name. So const last name, and then Faker, and then person, and then last name. Okay, and then let's also add that in our array. Okay, and then save, and then test it in our postman. So we're making sure that everything is working. So as you can see it here, we have first name and last name. So they're all random data. And after that, let's also add the email. So const email, and then Faker, and then for the email, it will be internet, and then email. Okay, and the email, we will combine the first name and the last name. So here in the email method, let's add the first name. So first name, and then the last name. Okay, and save. And let's also add the email in our array. So paste. Okay, and then back in our postman and send that. And as you can see it here, we have the first name, last name, and the email. So, and they're all combination of the first name and the last name. And there's also different types of email here. So there's Yahoo, there's Hotmail, and then Gmail. Okay. Okay. Now that we added the first name, last name, and email, so everything's working here. So next, let's also add the birth date. So const birth date, and then Faker, and then that will be date, and then the birth date. Okay, and we will also set some options here. So minimum age of 18 years old, and then maximum. So I'm going to set a maximum. So that will be 40, and you can set whatever maximum age you want. And then the mode, that will be age. Okay, and then let's add our birth date in our array. Okay, and then save that, and then in our postman, send that again. And as you can see it here, it's displaying the birth date, and they're all random. So back in our VS Code. So next, what we're going to do here is to format the birth date. So as you can see it here, it's not a human readable. So we'll format that, and then we'll be using another package called DayJS. So DayJS is a lightweight date utility library. So if we're going to search that, so DayJS, or not DayJS, DayJS, okay? And 2KB JavaScript date utility library. So it's very, very light. And click that, and then get started. So here in the installation, click Node.js, and then I'm going to select Yarn since I'm using Yarn. And then back in our VS Code, let's go to the terminal, and then terminate that, and then paste. Okay. All right. Once that is done, let's run our app again. So yarn dev, and then close that, close the terminal, and then let's check it in our package.json. So as you can see it here, it is installed. So back in our API, let's import that. So import DayJS from DayJS. Okay. And then here in the birth date, let's cut this now for now. And then DayJS. Okay. And then paste, and then followed by format. So the format, let's see, let's go to the browser and let's check the DayJS. And then here, click on the display and then the format. Okay. So we're going to use the 4ems. So display the full month name. Okay. So copy that. Okay. And then space. And then back in our DayJS website. And then copy the, I'm going to select the DD, double D. And it will output the day of the month, 2 digits. Okay. And then in our VS Code, paste that, and then comma, and then the year. So that will be 4 to display the 4 digit of the year. Okay. And then our VS Code, paste that, and then save that, and then let's run it again. So send, and as you can see it here, it's displaying it in more human readable. So here's the July, and then May 2002. So everything here is working. Okay. So next, after birth date, let's also add the age of the person. So const age, and then that will be new date. Okay. And then we'll get the full year. Okay. And then minus the birth date. So birth date. Okay. And then actually it's new date, and then birth date, and then get full year. Okay. Just like that. So it will example, it's 2024 here. So 2024 minus the generated birth date, and then the full year. Okay. So copy the age, and then add that in our array. Okay. Save that, and then back in our Postman, let's send that. And as you can see it here, it's displaying 36, 26. So 1998, it's 26. And then 35, 32, 20, 20, 36, 23. So it's working. So 1987, so that's 27. So that's accurate. So yeah, we have now age. And then, so after the age, let's also add the gender. So const, and then gender, and then Faker, person, and then that will be sex type. So the sex type will return um, female or male. Okay. So add the gender here in our array, and then save that, and then back in our Postman, send again. And as you can see it here, we have the gender and then the female. So here, as you can see, it's not sim. So I think sim is a male name. So the gender here is supposed to be a male. So let's fix that. So let's move the gender to the top. Okay. Here in our for loop. Okay. And then let's add the gender here in the first name method. So okay. Save that, and then run again. And as you can see it here, it matches the first name. If it's a male name, then the gender will automatically be a male. So Aura, female, that's a female name. Although it can be also a male. And then Alisa, it's a female name, so very female name. So gender is female, and then Patty, and then female, and then Boyd, I think that's a male. So that's a male. So yeah, everything here is working. So in our VS Code, let's also add the avatars. So as you can see it here in the public folder, I have female and the male folder. So if we're going to select that, there are 20 of them. And if we're going to view the male folder, there are 20 different male pictures here. So same thing for the female. So what we're going to do in our API here is we're going to generate a random female avatar based on the gender of based on the generated gender. So example here, const avatar. Okay. And then template string, and then slash. And to access the public folder, you can just simply add the slash there, and then followed by a gender. So female or male. So gender, so that will be the gender here. Okay, and make sure that it is a lowercase, so to lowercase. Okay, and then followed by, for example, let's say for example 005, and then later on we will convert this into a dynamic number. So 005, and then the file format, so it's WebP. Okay, so WebP. Okay, then let's add the avatar in our array. Okay, just like that, and then save, and then back in our postman here, let's send that again. And as you can see it here, if the gender is female, it will automatically it will automatically pick the female folder here. Okay, since it is set to 005, it will generate all 005 here, but later on it will be a dynamic number. Okay, so here Thomas male, and then male 005. So if we're going to go to the public folder and then 005, so that avatar will be generated. So same thing for the female if the data here is a female. Okay, so back in our API here, let's start adding the random number. So make sure that you are adding it in above the avatar variable. So const random number, and then Faker, and then that will be number, and then integer. Okay, and we'll set some options here, since the minimum here is 1 and then the maximum here is 20. So we'll set some minimum 1, and then maximum is 20. Okay, and since the random number will output a number, we will convert that into a string. So to string. Okay, and we'll also add here a pod start. So pod start. Okay, that's the reason why I need to convert that into a string, so I can add a pod start here. So the first value here will be 3, since the our file naming here is has 3 characters, so only has 3 characters. So 3, and then followed by the string, so that will be 0. So for example, if the random number will generate 1, it will generate 001 instead of 1. So in case it will generate 10, it will generate 010 instead of 10. Okay, I hope that makes sense. But we will see some example for that. So here in our avatar, let's paste the random number and then save that, and then in our postman here, let's send that again. Okay, and as you can see it here, 011 instead of 11. Okay, so 19 instead of 019 instead of 19. Okay, everything here is working. So if it outputs a single digit, for example 6, it will add 2 zeros, so it will be 006, and that will be male 006. So yeah, everything here is working. All right, our API is completed. So now we can start working on the client side. So we will be calling this API and display it there. So in our app.view, and but before that, we will be adding another package again, and that package will be Tailwind. So but it is optional. So it's up to you if you want to use whatever styling you want. You can also use plain CSS if you want. So but in this project, I'm going to use Tailwind. So in our browser here, let's go to the Tailwind and then search Tailwind Nuxt. Okay, and then click the first one. So Tailwind Nuxt, Tailwind CSS Nuxt.js.org. Okay, and then get started. And then here in the installation, let's copy the yarn. So since I'm using yarn, but there are also other available package manager there. So in our VS Code, go to the terminal and then terminate that. Okay, and then paste. Okay, all right, once that is done, let's also add the npx TailwindCSS CSS and then init. Okay, and that will generate the tailwind config.js. Since we're not using JS, let's change that to TS. Okay, and then let's also fix the errors here. So fix all and then save. Okay, and then let's also add the tailwind in here in the module. So package.json and then copy that. Okay, and then here in the Nuxt config.ts, so we'll be using modules and then array and then paste the module. Okay, and then run our app again. So yarn dev. Okay, okay, so close that, and then here in our app.view, let's test that. So we'll be adding a tailwind class in the body. So use head. Okay, and then body attributes and then class, and then that will be an array. Okay, and then here bg zinc, let's say 600. So just so we know that our background is working and the tailwind is working. So save that, and then in our browser, um, localhost 3000. And as you can see here, we have a gray background color here. So if we inspect element, I'm going to try to zoom that in. So inspect element and then the body here. So BG Zinc 600, and here's the CSS property for that. So let's start designing the page. So here in our inside the template, or before that, let's change the 600 to 100. So we will still have the a CSS here in the body, and that will be a BG Zinc 100 instead of 600. Okay. Here in the template, let's create a div, and then it will have a class of grid, and then it will be a grid calls one, and then justify items center. Okay, and then inside that, let's create a div again, and that will have a class of max width, and then that will be 1400 px for now. So we can always adjust that later. So with full, and then let's also check if the max width is working. So we will add a background here. So bg white. Okay, and we'll also add here a placeholder text. So hello world. Okay, and then back in our browser here, refresh that again, and as you can see, it is working. So here's our um, body, and then the parent div, and then our max width. Okay, so we will also set a margin for that. So margin top. So margin top, let's say 100 px. Okay, okay, just like that. And then let's also remove the background. So we're not gonna do that anymore since we know that the our max width is working. So here, let's start adding the or calling the API. So here, const data, and then await, and then useFetch. Okay. What happened here, and then the API there. Okay, and then let's try and display that. So for now, it's free. Okay, just like that. And as you can see it here, we have here our the generated data. Okay, and then next, let's also let's create a for loop. So here ul, and then li, and then v4. Okay, and that will be let's also change the data instead of data. Let's say users. Okay, or small u, and then user in users. Okay, and then the key, that will be user, and let's also add here some types so we know what data to expect. So here, let's add some types. So interface, um, interface user, okay, and then it will have the first name, so that will be a string, and then the last name, that will be a string. Same thing for the email, so email string, and then the birth date. So the birth date here, so the birth date is now a string, so to copy the birth date, and then that is also a string, and then the age, that will be a number. Okay, so age is a number, and then here the gender, that will be male or female. Okay, and then the up, no commas, and then the avatar, that will also be a string. Okay, and then let's use the user interface here. So user, and then, or like that, and then user, and since it will be an array of users, so add an brackets there. So if we try that again, so user, and if we select that, and it will display the available auto completion for us. So here, the key, that will be the email, so since email is unique. And then here, let's try and display that. So user, and then, or not users, user, and then user, why is it not displaying? Oh, that's because I am outside the li. So okay, so user, and then sample first name. So if we go to the browser, refresh that, and here we have um, the first names that we generated. So back in our VS Code, so we will first display the image. So img, and then src, and then user, and then the avatar. Oh, why did I do that? So user, avatar. Okay, and save that, and then in our browser, this is what it looked like. Okay, and let's also use grid here. So class grid, and then grid calls, that will be a 4 columns. Okay, just like that. And it will we will also add some gaps. So gap, let's say 6. Okay, 6 for now, but we can always adjust that later. So this is what it looked like now. Okay, so we are displaying the images here. So if we refresh, it will also, the images here will change. Okay, so back in our VS Code here, let's create another div. So div, and that will be let's also add a class for that. So empty 2, so it will add a margin top there, and then we'll also add some paddings. So p2 for now. Okay, and then let's also for example, let's also display the name. So user first name, and then here here in the li, let's add some css. So class, and then we will set a background, so bg white, and then a shadow. Okay, and then we'll also set a rounded, so rounded md, and then overflow hidden. Okay, and let's check that, and this is what it looked like now. Okay, and the shadow, that will be, let's see, lg. So let's try that, and it looks better compared to before. So back in our VS Code, let's complete the first name and the last name. Okay, and we'll add we will, instead of displaying the first name, we will wrap it with the h1. So h1 first name, and then user last name. Why is it there's an L there? Okay, it should be last name, so that's incorrect. So here, save that, and then here it is. So it displays the first name and the last name. So let's add some styling. So class text center, and then font XL, and then it will be also a bold. So font bold, and then um, let's see what else. Back in our browser, and then the font size. It should not be font XL. It should be text XL. Okay, and then we'll also change the color. So text zinc 600. Okay, just like that. All right, let's start adding the rest of the data. So here in our Postman, as you can see it here, we already added the first name, last name, and then the avatar. So let's add the email, birth date, age, and then the gender. Okay. So here in our VS Code, let's create a div below the H1. So create a div, and then we'll also add a margin top there. So empty, let's say for example 4 for now, but we can always adjust that later. So here, let's say email, and then that will be user email. Okay, and then in our browser, here it is. You can see the email here, and then let's also change the text color. So text zinc, so text zinc 600. Okay, so now it is better. So let's also add um, the age or the birth date. So birth date. Okay, and then user birth date. Okay, save that, and then refresh. And as you can see it here, we have the email and then the birth date. So, and you know what? I think it's better if we convert this into a component. So we can, and then we can reuse that. So here in our folder here, let's create a new folder, and we'll name it components, and that will be a user data.view. Okay, and then the view template. Okay, and then let's hello world for now, and then let's call that in our app.view. So here sample here, so user data. Okay, and let's check that in our browser, and it displays the hello world. So that means that this component is working. So um back in our user data component, let's add some props. So define props, and that will be a label, and that will be a string, and then what else? The value. Okay, so that will also be a string. Okay, and then in our app.view, it should display the error here. So I might want to restart the VS Code. Okay, and wait for a couple seconds. And as you can see it here, it displays the label and then the value. So the label, that will be label, that will be email, and then the value, so value, that will be user, or not users, user dot email. Okay, just like that. And then back in our user data component here, let's call the um, let's create a span. Okay, and then inside the span, that will be the label, and then inside and then let's also create the another span, and that will be the value. Okay, and let's also add that, and then let's try and check that. So in our browser here, as you can see, it displays the email. That's the label, and then the email value here. So back in our VS Code, let's also add some spacing. So okay, just like that. And then as you can see, it fixes the spacing. So in our VS Code here, we will be what should we do here? I'm trying to make this look better. So maybe improving the adjusting the font size. I think that might work. Or actually, let's add a class here. So text text zinc, that will be say 400 for now. And then here in the value, that will be text zinc 600. Okay. And as you can see it here, I think it will look better if we just set text zinc there. So let's just remove that, and then let's, instead of adding it in span, let's just add it above or in the div wrapper. So remove that, and then that as well. Okay, save, and then refresh. So it's working. So yeah, here back in our VS Code, what else? What else? I think that's all we need. So back in our app.view, let's copy that. So let's copy the component, and then here, let's just completely remove this one. Okay, and then here, paste that, and that will be the birth date. Okay, and then user birth date. So let's check that in the browser, and as you can see it here, it displays the birth date. So let's also add some class for that. So margin top, that will be 2. So just a little spacing. So okay, just like that. So it's cleaner. And then here, let's also add the what else? What else? The age. So here, user data, and then that will be age, and then user, then um, age. Okay. The value is not assignable. Type assignable to types. What is it? The type number is not assignable to type string. So I think we also need to add here, instead of string, it can also be a number. So number. Okay, that fixes the issue. And then let's copy that again. And then here, what else? The gender. Okay, I think that's the last data that we need to add. So gender, and then gender. Okay, in our browser. So as you can see it here, it displays all the data that we need. Okay, and let's also add some just for the design sake. So we'll also add some button here. So um, for example, where is it? Li. Okay, and then Li. Okay, and then that will be the button here. Okay, so button, and then that will be for example, view profile, or okay, view profile is good. So view profile. Okay, and then let's also add some background. So background bg blue, um let's say 300, and then text white, and then with full, and then px 2 py, or py2 px4. Okay, all right, that's the button there. And then let's also add some hover effects. So hover, and then bg sync 500. Okay, and then back in our browser. So as you can see it here, not zinc, it should be blue. Okay, just like that. All right, and let's also change the text instead of white. So text, let's say zinc 600. Okay, and now it is so much better. Okay, so I think it will be better if we just set that to 400, and then text white. Okay. All right. That's it. That's so much better. So I made some adjustments offline. I'm a big fan of nice designs. So I did that. So as you can see here, the button here is bigger and it's so much better compared before. And if you notice the email here, so before it was in capitalized and now they're all in lowercase. So the same thing for the mail before, they're all lowercase and now they're all capitalized. Okay. So not that big of a deal. That's why I did not include it in the video. So back in our VS Code, let's start adding the form. Okay. So I'm going to make that as a new component. So I'm going to name that the form that view. Okay. And then let's generate the view template. Okay. Just like that. And then let's test that. So hello form. Okay. And then back in our app.view, let's add that. So here in the where should we add it? I think it's above the UL. So um, the form, okay. And then back in our browser, so it displays the hello form, okay. So let's go back to our VS Code and then let's start adding the field. So here I'm going to add the input, okay, and then the type that will be a number, and then the class, we'll set it. We will set the height to let's say 45, and then we'll also add border, and then the border color. So border zinc 200, and then we'll also add a border radius. So rounded MD, and then let's try and save that and see what it looked like. So okay, that's what it looked like. So next we'll add a display block. So block, and then we'll make sure that it is in full width. Okay, and then save that, and then back in our browser, as you can see, it's now in full width. Okay, so next let's also add the button. So here below the input, so let's add the button. So button, okay, and then that will be update. Okay, and then the classes will be we'll set the background to blue. So BG blue, let's say 500, and then text white, and then px, so padding left and right. So px, let's say 6, and then padding top and bottom, so let's set that to 2. Okay, then save that, and then back in our browser, as you can see, we have now the button. So let's also add some let's also make the font bold. So font bold, and then text, let's actually leave the text like that, but we'll also set the heights the same for the um, input. So height 45px. Okay, and let's also add here the border radius too. So rounded MD. Okay, just like that. And then back in our browser, as you can see, we now have a nice button there. And let's also let's also make sure that it's in uppercase. Okay, upper. No, that's not the. Um, it should be in the button. So uppercase. Okay, and it's there. So I don't know why it's displaying 10. So let's just ignore that one for now. And here in the input type or in the div wrapper, so let's add a class, and we'll add a flex, and then let's also add a gap. So gap 4, and it should display like this. Okay, and then let's also add a margin to the bottom. So MB, so 10. Okay, and now it's so much better. Okay, so here if we type here, notice that we're not adding some we don't have any padding to the left, so let's also add that. So PL4, Okay, and as you can see, it is now better. And then let's also change the text to text zinc to 600. Okay, all right. So next, let's add a v model for the form or for the field. So const, and that will be a limit, and that will have a value of a number, ref, um, number, or null. Okay, since the default value here is null, so we're not specifying any limit there, since we already have the we already set the limit here in our API. Okay, and then after that, let's also add the v model here. So v model, okay, limit, okay, and then let's test that. So let's display the limit, and if I type here, it should be a number. Okay, so if we type here words or letters, it's not going to display anything because the type of the field is a number. So if we're going to type a number, that will display. Okay, now that it's working, let's remove that, and then let's add a event to our button. So click, and then prevent, and then handle update. Okay, and then let's create a function for that. So function handle update. Okay, and then let's test that. So console.log hit. Okay, and then back in our browser, let's test that, and then spec element. And if I'm going to click that, it will display the hit in the console. So that means our function is working. So next, let's add a an emit. So what it does is we will be creating an emit, and we will call that in the app.view. Okay, so const emits, and that will be define emits. Okay, and then the TypeScript syntax. So here e, and then the e for event, and then the event name. So that will be update. Okay, and then the value, that will be a number. Okay, I don't know why it's basically has any return type. Oh, we forgot to add void here. Okay, so that fixes the error. So here in the our update function, so let's call that. So emit, and then update. Okay, and then let's also add the limit value here. So if it is specified. Okay, so limit that value. Okay, and actually let's add some validation. So if the limit is not specified, and then let's not trigger the emit. Okay, so that is just simple. So let's run some validation. So if limit that value is false, okay, we will return what should we return? Or let's also add some an error text here. So const error message, and that will be a string or null, and then the default value is null. Okay, so and we will set that we will set the error message here. So if the limit is false, or if it's undefined, we will throw some error message. So error message that value, so cannot be empty, or let's say field cannot be um empty. Okay, and then let's return that. Okay, and then oh, what happened? Oh, and also let's also add else here. Okay, and then if there is a value, so if else, it will trigger the emit that we created. So let's test that. So here, and let's also make sure that if the limit is or if the limit has a value, let's also make sure to reset the error message. So error message value will be null. Okay. And then back in our browser. So let's actually test that. Or let's see, console log hit. Okay. So let's test that. So now that our field is empty, we should not be seeing any output here. So but if we add some numbers here, so example 1 2 3, and it will display the hit. Okay. So this the else is triggered. So next, what should we do next? Let's display the error message. After that, let's add some another wrapper here. So let's cut that and then paste that. Okay. And then let's also create a div below the main wrapper. So div that will be the error message. Okay. And then we will add some VF here. So VF error message. So we're telling here if there's an error message, then this div here will display. Okay. So let's try that. So here in the our browser, so it's empty, so it should display. Okay. And if it's not, so we add some values here, it will disappear. Okay. And since it is an error message, let's add some classes there. So text rows 500. Okay, just like that. And then we'll also make sure that it is a block. Okay, although it is a div, but we're just making sure. Okay. All right. So let's try that again. So click that. So as you can see, field cannot be empty. Or actually, let's place that below. So I think it's more appropriate if we place the error message below. So let's cut that. Okay. And then paste that here. Okay. And then what happened here? Let's see. Oh, it's the MB10 that is causing some margin. So let's place that in the main wrapper. So MB that dash 10. Okay. And as you can see, it is now fixed. Okay. So next, let's start adding the working on the app.view. So we will call the emit trigger there, or the emit event. So update, and then let's say handle update. Okay. And then let's also create a function for that. So I'm sure you guys are familiar with this if you're using Vue.js. Okay. So let's see, the parameter over here will be value, and that will be a number. Okay. So if we console log that, so console log, and then let's console log the value. So just to check it. So here, let's see, update. So it's not console logging anything since it is empty. But if we add 12 there, it displays 12. Okay. So that is our emit here is working. So next, let's add a new variable here. So let's name it limit, and that will be a ref, and that will be a number or null, and then the default value here is null. Okay. And then let's also add some let's also convert this into a a reactive state. So we'll be using computed property for that. So const user API, and then computed property. Okay. Okay, just like that. And then we will also run some validation. So if the limit here is null, so let's generate this default API. So if limit that value is null or false, let's just generate this one. So return. Okay. So that is the our basic or the default API here. So And then if there's a value, on the limit, we will return template string, and then that, and then let's go to our postman. So it will be something like this. Okay, so let's just copy that. So API, okay, copy that, and then change the value of the limit to the limit variable here. So limit that value. Okay, and then let's copy the user API variable or computed property. So and paste that in our useFetch. Okay. So next, let's also add the value to the limit variable here. So example, what if the user clicks the handle update or the button here, it will set the value to the it will set the value, and then it will be set to the limit. Okay, so limit that value equals to the value. Okay, just like that. And then if we go to the browser and refresh, and then let's try that. So let's say 10, and then update. Okay, and as you can see it here, it displays 10 random users. Okay, and if we put 5, it will display 5. So we're going to remove that, and then we're not displaying anything, it will throw an error. Okay, so now it is working. So let's keep trying that. So 7, 10, back to 10, and also make sure not to add more than 100, so that will cause some issues since our numbers here, or the avatars available here, is only up to 20. So but it will still display. Okay, all right, now that our app is completed, let's also add here some headlines. So back in our VS Code, this is just optional for you, so it's up to you if you want to add. So I'm going to add a headline here, so that will be an H1, and then that will be what is that? So random user generator. Okay, and then let's add some classes. So text center, and then font bold. Okay, and then text zinc, and that will be 900. And then what else should we add there? It should be uppercase, and then they let's actually test that and see what it look like. So okay, back in our VS Code, let's add some sizing. So text, um, let's see, 40 px for now. Okay, and what happened here? Oh, that is incorrect. Sorry about that. It should be in the H1 tag. So back in our browser, and as you can see, we now have the headline here. So let's also add some margin bottom. So that will be 4. Okay, and now we have the headline. So just a quick recap of our tutorial here. So what we learned in this tutorial. So let's go back to our VS Code. So back in our API, so we learned how to create an API, and then the method here is get. So we learned that, and we also learn how to use the get query, and then the limit, and then we also learn how to add some types here for the query, and then we also learn how to use the basic Faker.js, and then the basic formatting of DayJS, and then also here some error validation. So just in case there are error in your just in case there is an error or are errors, okay, this will display. Okay, and then back in our app.view, and also here in package.json, we also learn how to install Tailwind, and then the ESLint, and then the TypeScript, and the DayJS, and then the Faker.js. Okay, and then in our app.view, we also learn how to use the useFetch, so make it reactive, and then you also learn how to use the props, and then the form, and then the define emits. So yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I hope you like the video. So I'm going to continue doing videos like this in the future. So if you like this kind of video, like and subscribe.